Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. Thank you for joining us today and for registering for this Lunch and Learn. Today's presentation is called The 8 Dimensions of Wellness, and we're going to specifically talk about physical wellness today. And I am Christine Zellers, and I'm with Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Cape May County's Family and Community Health Sciences Department. Also joining me today from the FCHS department here in Cape May County is Morgan Gifford. So she's behind the scenes. She'll be answering questions. So if you have questions that are related to IT or anything like that going on behind the scenes, you can put that in, and then I'll answer any questions related to the presentation at the end. And your cameras are off and you're muted, and that's so you're not on the recording. And we are recording today's presentation, and it will be available. We'll post it up on our web page for you to access at a later time if you're interested in sharing it or viewing any parts again. Just as a quick review about Rutgers Cooperative Extension, we're part of the Rutgers, New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station, and Rutgers is a land-grant university, and that means that we have cooperative extension services throughout New Jersey to support the community with educational information that's specifically research-based. Rutgers Cooperative Extension is a partnership between the the Board of County Commissioners, Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, and the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture. And we currently have faculty or staff in 20 of the 21 counties in New Jersey. And we're encompassed of 3 departments that include agricultural and natural resources, 4-H youth development, and then my department, which is Family and Community Health Sciences, or FCHS. And FCHS, we provide outreach in New Jersey and beyond on topics related to nutrition, chronic disease prevention, food safety, and overall wellness. And I will share at the end of the presentation contact information, and then I'm also going to email some information out for you so you have resources. But feel free to check out our webpage. There's lots of free resources there. Rutgers University is an equal opportunity university, and Rutgers Cooperative Extension, as part of the Rutgers, New Jersey Experimental Station, supports all equal opportunity and access. All right, at this point, I'm going to release a poll. We had a lot of people that registered for today's class, and I just want to go over the criteria for what's going to happen. First off, Morgan's going to release the poll, and in that poll, we're going to ask you just some questions. This information is really valuable to us because it lets us know who's attending, and it helps us to make sure that we're reaching everyone equally in the community, which is important to our funders, the USDA. Also, like I said, we did have a lot of people register for today's class, and I just wanted to go over the criteria. This is last month's flyer on here, but just wanted to go over the criteria for this Lunch and Learn series if you're trying to win one of the Fitbits. I'm trying to gauge interest in what people are learning from the 8 Dimensions of Wellness curriculum that I wrote with my colleague Jen Strikaitis. And to do that, we're going to do a survey following the lesson. So that'll come to you a couple days after we're done this presentation, and the survey is going to be emailed to you. And if you attend all 10 of the classes, then you'll get 10 separate emails. It's going to be the same questions, but we're trying to gauge like what you're learning at each different session. And that's why we ask you to plug in which session you attended. Only the attendees will get the survey. So if you register and you do not attend, you're not going to get the survey mailed to you. So please make sure that you're in attendance so that your name is recorded there. And each class that you attend, you can complete another one. So if you attended the January class and completed the survey already, that's okay. You'll be able to, once again, you'll get a link and you'll be able to go in and do the survey again. So if you participate in all 10 of the classes and you complete all 10 of the surveys, then you're going to be entered to win a Fitbit 10 times. So that's going to increase your chances a lot. And then the more you attend, the more chances you get. So just to review, you will be eligible to win one of 15 Fitbits. Exciting news. We found a lower price on the Fitbits, so we think we're going to be able to order more than 15. So gives you a better chance of being able to win, since we'll have more to give away. You do need to complete the survey after the class that we'll send out separately in order to qualify to win one of those. And you need to make sure that you leave your email address when you complete the survey. Your answers will not be associated with your email address, but we need that to be able to contact you, right? And to be able to enter you in that, we need some way to identify it. And during the presentation, please take note of the word code for the survey. You're going to need to insert that to show that you attended the entire webinar to be entered to win. So that's important too. And don't share it, because if you share it, then you're giving somebody else the chance that's in to 10 to win one of those Fitbits that could be yours, right? And the Fitbits are going to be distributed in November after the final class series. So all just a little bit of information on that. All right, so let's get started. Today's discussion has 3 objectives. First, we're going to have a quick overview of the 8 dimensions of wellness that we covered in January, and a little bit about the history of wellness. And then we're going to identify the areas of physical wellness. And finally, we'll talk about keys to creating physical wellness in your life with tips for physical wellness. Yet another survey. So this is a survey that the university requires. It's even if you just answer the first 2 questions, it's helpful to me. If you want to get your phone out and scan that. The first 2 questions are about the instruction and the content material, and that's important. Again, the university wants to know that, Morgan and I aren't hanging out on the beach somewhere, that we're really working and we're trying to educate the community. So I'd be very grateful if you would take out your phones and scan that and fill it out at the end of the presentation. And I'll put that up for you again at the end. All right, so as I promised, we're going to just do a quick review of the 8 dimensions of wellness. The 8 dimensions of wellness idea dates back to the 1940s when the World Health Organization defined wellness as physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. And right now there's so many different models out there. You probably notice in advertising and marketing campaigns, they're actually using it as a marketing tactic. Oh, you can feel better, your wellness. So following the pandemic, we really started to get bombarded with this idea of wellness because of all the hardships there were in life and trying to be healthy and well. So you can make note of that. I've seen cars advertised, you'll be well if you drive this car. I don't exactly know how that works, but, there's a lot of popularity around it. A lot of people hopping on the bandwagon, and a lot of people, trying to promote wellness. So with that in mind, it's not really something that you need to buy. You don't need to go buy a car to achieve wellness. And according to SAMSHA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Association, wellness consists of balancing the 8 dimensions, which include physical, emotional, social, professional, intellectual, spiritual, environmental, and financial aspects of one's life. And these 8 dimensions, as you can see here in the cycle, they're very cyclical and they support one another. Achieving personal wellness is not about, purchasing anything, but really, and you don't even need to go to a wellness coach or a life coach or anything like that. If you're aware of these 8 dimensions and all the areas, and you recognize where you're, happy and fulfilled, and where maybe you're not so fulfilled, and you can strive to be more fulfilled. Being mindful of these 8 areas and where you are with them in that capacity could really help you to achieve it all on your own without, paying anybody or buying anything to do it. And, because paying for things like that and buying things like that might not help your financial wellness. So think about it in those terms. And like I said earlier in this slide, wellness is not just physical and mental well-being, but that balance between all the different areas and making sure that we're balanced in them. So let's move on to the next area here. And like I said, we are going to be talking about physical wellness. Hold on one second. Got some people in the waiting room. Morgan, can you let those folks in for me? All right. So you're going to hear me say this a few times as we discuss physical wellness in particular. And it's true for all parts of wellness, in the 8 dimensions. You need to take small steps and try to do things so you're not overwhelmed, so that you can be successful. So think about it, almost like building a house. You want to create a good foundation and build a little bit at a time so that it doesn't all come crashing in. So as you listen to the presentation today, think about where you might like to start to achieve physical wellness, and make a goal to do one aspect, not everything at once that I'm going to talk about today, one little part. Think about where you really feel like you really want to focus in and start there. And then, come back and, maybe even make yourself a little list about, where you want to go from there, just so you have a game plan. And if you feel really satisfied with your physical wellness, everything's going good, you feel really good, then look at it, the ways that it overlaps with the other dimensions of wellness, and how you might use your success with the physical wellness that you're already achieving to intermix that with other dimensions that you feel like you could use more of your concentration. So for instance, how can your physical wellness help support your spiritual wellness? So if you're feeling really good with your physical wellness, how can you transfer that to make sure that your spiritual wellness is also being met? So within the dimensions of wellness, SAMHSA breaks down each dimension into different areas. So there's 6 specific areas within the dimension of physical wellness, and I'm going to review those in detail today for the benefits they offer, and for our overall wellness. And once we've reviewed those 6 areas, we're going to discuss ways to meet goals to achieve that physical wellness. And you can see here, these areas are nutrition, exercise, sleep, alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. And we'll talk about how they fit in there, medication safety, and preventative medicine. And I'm sure, it comes as no surprise to anyone listening to this presentation that the first area of physical wellness is eating nutritious foods. And for me, I obviously I teach nutrition education all the time. I've been doing this for years, and it's an important component of it. But what I've realized as I've started diving into this phase of my career, that there's so many other, areas of physical wellness. But this area is especially important because it does impact different parts of being physically well. Because a nutrient-dense diet can benefit us in so many different ways, multiple ways, and it can help create that physical benefit, physical wellness that we're talking about today. The benefits of eating a healthy diet include chronic disease prevention for things like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancers, hypertension, and obesity. And a diet that includes fruits and vegetables at each meal is a good dose of vitamins and minerals that keep our bodies healthy and free of infection. And that also helps us stay physically well. Fruits and vegetables are also high in fiber, and that keeps our body moving internally to help us move everything around so that we don't feel bloated and weighed down. It helps, eating fiber actually helps with our energy levels because we don't feel weighted and bloated. Eating a nutrient-dense diet also means less rooms for foods that add empty calories, like high sugar foods and drinks. And in turn, that means it'll make it easier for us to maintain a healthy weight. So, eat more fruits and vegetables so you don't have room for those things that are once in a while foods. And when you're attempting to balance wellness, try to eat a healthy nutrient-dense diet that consists of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean meat, and dairy, so that you have a well-balanced, nutritious diet every day. And I want to stop here. I know I told you that for the Fitbit, we're going to have a word code that you need to enter into the survey. And I just want to let you know at this point that that word to enter to win the Fitbit is prevention. Prevention is the word that you need to enter into the survey when it asks you for the word code. So I'm telling you all that now, so you have the information, so don't share it if somebody's not on the call, because then it reduces your chances of winning. All right. Next up, we have being active. So we had nutritious food, and of course, being physically well, of course, you're going to think of physical activity and movement. Being active is the second area of wellness, and it's never too late to start exercising. You want to make sure that you check with the doctor before you do start a new exercise regimen so that you're safe. But it's never too late to start. Participate in regular physical activity to make everyday activities easier. According to the Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans, second edition, the more we move, the more easily we'll age, because we'll have more ability to be able to support ourselves in different regular everyday activities as we age. So for instance, as we age, being in better physical condition could make eating, bathing, toileting, and dressing easier, and even getting in and out of bed, or moving from a chair. Or you just moving around the house or neighborhood could be easier if you are physically active at a younger age, because that helps you to maintain that as you get older. And sometimes I'm seeing it. You go to get out of the chair, and it's a little bit more difficult as you age. But the more you are physically active throughout your lifespan, the easier that is going to be for you. And we don't really think about that when we're young. We don't think about the fact that we're going to want to be able to move about the house and be independent as we age, and physical activity can certainly help with that. Another benefit to moving more is to help prevent falls, because being physically active will increase strength, flexibility, and balance. So having that ability could help to prevent a fall down the road and an injury, which we also want to avoid, to be physically well. And if you're regularly active with exercise, it will help you feel better, and it can ease the symptoms of anxiety and depression. People also tend to sleep better when they exercise regularly, and having less anxiety and better sleep creates a healthier you, therefore making you feel well overall. So you can see how physical activity is so critical to our everyday lives in so many ways. When you do exercise, you want to do it for at least 150 minutes per week of cardiovascular exercise. And that's so you can decrease your chances of chronic disease. As we mentioned with the nutritious foods, that exercise also goes along with that chronic disease prevention. And you can increase your exercise amounts to 300, and then your risk becomes even lower of chronic disease. So if you're already doing that 150 minutes a week of cardiovascular disease, if you up that to 300 minutes a week, you increase, you double up, then you're going to risk those chronic disease chances to even lower risk. So another incentive to be physically active. Physical activity should be a combination of aerobic or cardiovascular, strength training, and stretching. And even though exercise expends energy, it really does give you a feeling of being more energized. So I just did a talk yesterday with Wellness Wednesday that'll be up on the website if you want to check it out, but talked about how being motivated to exercise and things like that are so important. So if you're looking for ways to be physically active, and you're having a hard time staying with it, then check out that webinar. It might be helpful for you, because people often say the reason they don't exercise is because they're tired. So ironically enough, if you did, push through that being tired, lace up the shoes, go for a walk, it's going to make you more energized. It's going to help you be more focused. It's going to help you think clearer, and it can even make you happier, which is going to be better for your overall wellness too. Regular physical activity has been associated with better cognitive function. I know it helps with me when when I get my exercise in and I come to work, I function a lot better than those days that I don't move. And it's also been associated with delaying degenerative brain diseases like Alzheimer's. So another good reason to be physically active for your physical wellness. And I know, I talk to people all the time and they're, I'm not sleeping right now, I'm miserable. Everybody recognizes how important a good night's sleep is. And when a person doesn't get that good night's sleep, it really can affect their physical and emotional wellness and take a toll on them. So for instance, a study published in the Annual Review of Clinical Psychology found a relationship between sleep and emotional brain function. And this indicates that sleep improves our emotional brain function. A good night's sleep can not only improve our mood, but it can make us more aware and support our memory functions. So think of it in terms of driving. If you're sleepy, you're not as aware if you haven't slept when you're driving, which could cause errors in your perception and your ability to be safe. And it's that, functioning all day long is that way. It's not just for driving. So you want to make sure that you get a good night's sleep. And studies are currently being done on the relationship between chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease, and they're linked to sleep or sleep deprivation. And these studies are not fully conclusive yet, although there's been a proposed link between chronic disease and sleep habits. The tough part about correlating what it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. It's the, what came first? Is it the chronic disease, or is it caused by genetics or nutrition or sedentary lifestyle, or the sleep? So what happened, are people not sleeping because they have a chronic disease, or are they not sleeping because they never slept well and now they have a chronic disease? So it's that, again, that chicken and egg theory. But needless to say, no matter how those studies come out, we all, can value the good sleep. And also in an article in Science Direct, Sleep and Exercise, a reciprocal issue, it's indicated that a good night's sleep can assist with better workouts or physical productivity. It further states that poor sleep can contribute to poor physical performance. So you can see here just how, again, the 8 dimensions are intertwined, for wellness, but these subgroups are very intertwined as well. So, you don't get good sleep, it's harder to perform, with physical activity, but physical activity helps us sleep. So, we're kind of chasing the cycle here. That's why it's also important. A good night's sleep can also help to balance our sugar levels too. When we when we crave sugary foods, then we're probably tired. Our body's seeking energy. So that, that not sleeping and then eating sugary foods can contribute to how we balance our sugar levels too. So important on another level. And better sleep can mean better heart health too. Since our bodies slow down while we're sleeping, our heart and breathing slows as well. And it's been shown that this gives our heart a little bit of a break and stops it from working so hard to pump the blood through our body. So another good reason for a good night's sleep is give your heart that heart muscle a little bit of a rest. And just like eating healthy and movement, sleep is critical to our overall wellness and physical wellness. So if you're not, finding that you're not getting a good quality sleep or a good quantity sleep, then, if it's for more than 3 weeks, definitely want to consult with a doctor. If it's a little sporadic, then maybe try changing things up. Maybe this is your first step in those little steps is, say, I'm going to get more physical activity so I sleep better. And that might be that one step that helps you to get to step 2. So, preventative medical care is another area of physical wellness that you might not have thought, that might not have been so readily thought about as, getting enough sleep and physical activity and nutrition, but it is also very important as well. And as children, we have regular well visits, but, when we start to age and we get a little bit older, we're not quite so diligent about going to the doctor for preventative care as adults. Being well and having physical wellness means seeing a doctor for annual checkups. If you're healthy, you may not see the need to go to the doctor, but you want to at least have a doctor there that you can turn to in the event that you do become ill. And, going for those regular, well visits could find something. It can help you to get screenings for preventative care and create early detection. And that's important no matter what your gender is. It's important to get to the doctor for those preventative care appointments so that you can have all the different screenings that need to be done at various ages. For women, that might be an annual mammogram and pap smear. And for men, it could be prostate screening every 3 to 5 years after 50, depending on the family history and race. If you have a family history of certain diseases, share that with your physicians. Very important. You want to make sure you get the proper screening for that. And be sure to see a dentist regularly and get eye exams regularly. Preventative medicine is critical to stay, well physically, and it can help you maintain your health long term. And knowing that family history, it's not always possible, but if you do, that can really show, a doctor that, hey, you need to, for instance, you need to go more regularly for a colonoscopy if there's been colon cancer history in your family. And that can really help to cut it off early so that you don't progress to maybe where a family member has. And then next you'll notice that this slide says awareness of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. This is an area of physical health that can, run interference in good physical wellness. Substances such as these, even legal ones, can contribute to unhealthy behaviors if they're not kept in check. For legal adults 21 and over, intake of alcohol should be limited to 2 drinks or less for men and per day, and 1 drink or less for women a day, according to the dietary guidelines for Americans. There's no recommendations for tobacco and recreational drugs. These substances may not support physical wellness, that's for sure. If there's, it's important, according to SAMHSA, to look for triggers in this area that may be happening that cause you to overuse or abuse substances, and try to find something else to do if you're finding that you're overusing or abusing these substances. And of course, please, please, please seek professional help if you're not being successful at controlling substances yourself, because these can really, they can run interference in so many different parts of your life, but they're definitely going to contribute to difficulty maintaining physical wellness. So that's why I've included them there, and make awareness to folks about how they could contribute to undermining your attempts to be well. Another area maybe you didn't think of for physical wellness is medication safety. When we go to our doctor and we're prescribed a medication, we trust it will make us better, right? That's why we went to the doctor. If you take a medication from your doctor and you don't feel well, then be sure to reach out to them and let them know how it's affecting you. If you take medication regularly, it's important to carry a list of those medications with you in the event of an emergency, so people know what you're taking. Also, you can wear medic alert jewelry if you take regular medication for emergency situations. So if something happens, folks that are trying to assist you know how to treat you properly. And also, you want to store medications and, to make sure the medications are meeting their maximum potential or potency as well. So don't store medication over a stove, for instance, because that could interfere, heating it up and cooling it down could interfere with how potent it is and how it's performing for you. Storage is also important when it comes to overdose and misuse safety. If you have medications that a child or someone who has substance use disorder might be affected by, then make sure to put them away safely by locking them up. And likewise, if you have a procedure and there's leftover medication, then make sure to dispose of anything that could be harmful to others and it's not being taken anymore. Get rid of those things. You can drop them off at a drop site or use a disposal bag from a local agency. There's different agencies that will distribute these bags from time to time, and you can put those things into a bag, and it mixes with charcoal and dilutes them so that people can't take them and misuse them or harm themselves. And that's important too. We don't want to flush them down the toilet or do anything that gets in the water system. So make sure you dispose of them properly at one of those drop sites or using one of those disposal bags. And then finally, always allow dosage, even always follow the dosage, even for over-the-counter medications like pain relievers, because these can cause unwanted side effects if they're not used properly. So there's a dosage there for a reason. Even if you're going in and just buying it yourself and a doctor hasn't prescribed it, make sure that you're using them properly and not in excess. Okay, so now that we know the 6 various areas of physical dimensions of the physical dimension of wellness, let's look at some of the positive ways to create wellness within this dimension. So access to healthy food is an issue, and I know that here in Cape May County, I know there's a lot of folks on from Cape May County, then we do have issues with food access for some folks, and you want to make sure that you look for resources that offer affordable, healthy food, or check with a local food bank or pantry. And to make food more affordable, shop by comparing prices and accessing stores, sales, and coupons to help make sure you access that healthy food. I'm doing a talk sometime in March at the Ocean City Library, where we're going to talk specifically about healthy food and cost, and we're going to do a couple exercises. It's in person, so I'm really excited about that, so I can do like some interactive exercises to help teach people how to shop more affordable. I know it's really difficult right now to meet that grocery bill cost, and eating nutritious doesn't always seem like the best option to save money, but it really is in so many ways, and I'm going to demonstrate in that talk about that, so I hope that you'll join me for that. Another way to make sure that you're eating nutritionally and to be physically well is to eat at home. It's a lot healthier to eat at home. If you're eating out a lot, it can be very unhealthy. Food that's prepared out is often a much larger proportion than what we might eat at home. So you could be eating 2 and 3 times the amount you might eat at home, which means it's going to be hard to maintain a healthy weight if you're eating out a lot. And also that eat out food, it's really tasty a lot, but it could contain a lot more fat and sodium in addition to more calories than what we prep at home. So it's important to be mindful of eating at home as often as possible. Support groups or helps from a dietitian could provide you with social support or personal support, and that could be an option to help you eat more nutritiously. And some insurance companies will now cover benefits for service like this, depending on what your insurance provider is and your situation. So look at insurance providers, and they're featuring a lot of physical health coaching and things like that that are free and supportive, and offer healthy materials to do this. So check them out. Go online and look at what your provider's offering, or reach out to them to find out. Try also to plan meals ahead of time so that you're not hungry and searching for something, rather than making a healthy choice. Don't figure out what you're having for dinner at 5:30 at night and stop at the grocery store on your way home when you're really, really hungry, because then you're probably going to pick up some unhealthy choices. So you plan that out. It helps you to be a little bit more healthy with that. And also all the ideas here that I'm going to suggest today, to make your goals to eat more healthy, a more nutritious diet, take them in small steps. Don't do it huge things. So for instance, I offered quite a few things on this one slide alone for you to do. So make those changes small. Maybe it's adding fruits and vegetables in. I'm going to add 1 fruit and 1 vegetable per day and build on that. Or maybe it's making a shopping list and planning meals ahead of time for the week. That's a perfectly good start, and that's a great way to get you moving on your journey of eating more nutritious foods, nutrient-dense diet. Just a reminder that eating from the 5 food groups will support a nutrient-dense diet that helps all parts of our bodies function better for physical wellness. And we want to make sure that half of our plate is fruits and vegetables at every meal. We want to eat lean meat like chicken, pork, and seafood. And we want to make half our grains whole grains every day and enjoy low fat or fat-free dairy. Additionally, it's not always cheaper, as I talked about, as some people do assume, to eat less healthy. Healthy food gives us long-term health benefits. And if you shop properly and eat a well-balanced nutrient diet, it can actually cost less than unhealthy food. And I have many, many examples of that. The talk I'm giving next week, I think I talk about green beans versus potato chips, and the green beans are at least almost half the price of the potato chips. So you might think you're grabbing something that's healthier and easier, but it's really not. All right, so let's talk about the Move Your Way campaign, which supports physical activity. And they say do that any way you can that's good for you. So think about that as a start to move and add more to your day. Do what works for you in your day and your schedule. Do what you can and build on that. You don't have to run a marathon to be fit. Think about goals, and just like with eating healthy, take 1 step at a time. To prevent exercise from being a chore, find something that motivates you. If that means joining forces with a family member or friend who wants to exercise, then that's a great way to go. Make sure it's someone that is not going to cave in if you don't want to work out. Make sure it's a good partner, somebody that is going to motivate you to keep your exercise efforts going. We all have that friend that's gung-ho, yeah, let's exercise every day at 6 a.m. we'll go for a walk, and then you're getting the text message, I'm too tired, I can't today, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do it either. So find somebody that is a good buddy to help you out with that. Also, you want to avoid excuses by setting yourself up to succeed by doing things like working out at times that are convenient, where other responsibilities won't interfere with what you're doing. You don't want to be thinking about what else you have to be doing. You want to pick a time of day that works best for you and that you're sure to be able to commit to that exercise and get it completed. Choose a time that makes you feel most fulfilled by your workout, and not one where you're trying to squeeze it in between things. If you have to squeeze it in, that's fine, but try to go in with the mindset that, okay, this is my time. I'm doing this for me. It's a little gift to myself. So I'm going to concentrate on doing this and not worry about what I just completed or what's coming next. You also want to do what you like, do what's going to keep you moving. So if you enjoy nature and walking in the woods or on a beach, then make it a point to do that several times a week or on the weekends if you can't get there during the week, so that you have that time to enjoy it. Also, if you like yoga because it relaxes you, then do that. Do what you love. Not everyone's going to like the same form of movement, and that's why the Move Your Way is a good suggestion from our, a standpoint of everybody's different. So you should do what you like to keep you moving, and realize that one size does not fit all. So don't worry about what the person next to you is doing at the gym, how heavy the weights are in their arms. Worry about what you're doing and pat yourself on the back for getting there, because I always say that's half the struggle, is getting to working out, and be motivated by that. Do what you love again, but people can come up with 100 reasons why not to exercise. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too windy, it's too nice. But find something that's going to make you not make excuses and make exercise a part of your everyday routine, just like, brushing your teeth, or putting on your shoes, that they're part of your routine. So make it a healthy part of your routine. Getting a better night's sleep may take some doing, lifestyle wise, but this is an important part of that physical wellness, as I've mentioned already. And this slide shows some things you could do to be more consistent about quality night's sleep. And to start, it sounds obvious, but it does work to set a bedtime and go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every day. This really signals your body and it sets a pattern. I have a new grandchild, and two new grandchildren, and both of their parents have been really good about setting that bedtime, and they're sleeping through the night at a young age. And you got to think about that for you too. We're the same as adults. Having that routine is a signal for your, to wake up and go to sleep at the same time. So it might take a little bit to be effective for you, but try it and be, very routine about it, so that you're getting a more restful and complete night's sleep. And that could really be, I know it's been a big change in my life to go to bed every night at the same time. I set an alarm to go to bed, and I set an alarm to get up, and it's been helping a lot with my quality of sleep. To refer back to the next slide, more physical activity can mean a better quality night's sleep. And that's, for children and us. Children, they get worn out if they're running around a lot. Same for us. So let's find a way to wear ourselves out healthy, like exercising, and help us, settle our minds down so we get a better night's sleep. And you might want to consider when you exercise. If you exercise 2 to 3 hours before bed and you find like you're not sleeping, you're a little restless, then maybe change it to another time of the day. You want to make sure that you get 20 to 30 minutes of exercise per day at least, and that's going to help you to sleep better. Caffeine can prevent a person from sleeping well, and this could also mean that you're not sleeping well and you're not getting to sleep, because it is a stimulant. So make sure, I have people say, I can drink coffee right before bed, and that's great, good for you, but you might be sleeping a little more restless and not recognize that. So just be mindful of that. And if you are finding you're not sleeping, then maybe you want to back off of the caffeine, have it a little earlier in the day. Also, during the day, take time to de-stress and find something that relaxes you. Do a little something for you. And this might mean exercise or a hobby you enjoy, or it could involve meditation or breathing. Just put yourself in time out. That little time out or break that we have, that's going to give us the ability to calm down or turn off for a better night's sleep during the day. And it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day, how the little guys, when kids are playing and they get too involved and too wound up, we put them in timeout, but as adults we don't do that. So that could help us really to kind of calm down if we take that little time out from our daily routine and all we have going on, to just be quiet and still in the moment. Stress, is important because stress can cause short-term or long-term sleep disturbances. So try managing those stress levels for a better night's sleep with things like meditation or exercise. Keep your sleeping area free from clutter. So if you have your desk in there, maybe you want to put a sheet over top of it, close down the computer so you don't hear it pinging, or you're not laying there sitting looking at the things that have to happen for work from home the next day. So be aware of your sleep area being clutter free. And in the last 3 or more years, so many people working from home, it's a lot more likely that you're going to have that office, and you want to make sure you keep it separate from your sleeping area if that's the case. Try to avoid falling asleep on the sofa. I know it's hard, we get tired at a certain time, but if you're finding yourself falling asleep every night at 9 o'clock on the sofa, well then guess what? Why don't you go up and get ready for bed at 8:30 so that you can fall asleep in your bed where you don't have to be disturbed moving from the sofa to the bed or wake up uncomfortable because you're on the sofa. And this is part of, again, getting that regular pattern where our bodies can slow down and unplug, and giving us what our bodies need for that sleep. Because obviously if you're falling asleep at that time every night, your body's telling you you're tired. And also another good point is unplugging ourselves. We're so plugged in, so attached to our phones, and that blue light from the computer or tablet or screens, that signals our bodies that it's light out, and that messes with our body's circadian rhythm, which means we're not getting the correct signal to go to sleep. I know that a lot now they have the night settings on the screens, but guess what? Our brain is still thinking and going, oh, look at what's going on Facebook. Look what's happening over here on Instagram. Oh, TikTok dance. Let me think about that. That's got our bodies constantly going. So even if it's on the black light screen, you want to try to shut that down. So think about turning your devices off early, giving your mind a chance to rest. Also, don't eat a huge meal too close to bed. When your belly's full, it's going to keep digesting it. And we go to bed with that big, heavy meal in our belly, our body keeps digesting it. So it's not allowing us to get that good, restful night's sleep. And if you have long-term issues, like I said earlier, it's time to consult a doctor and see what you can have happen there. Most people do describe having some type of sleep issues during their lives, but talking with your doctor is important for your health, especially if sleepiness is persistent and interferes with your daily life. If you find that your mind is wandering as you try to sleep and you're having a hard time falling asleep from this, try doing something that relaxes you. So for instance, the good old counting sheep. I've started counting from 99 backwards. I find I can't get too far and makes me concentrate on just counting when I'm counting backwards. So I used to use that as an example. And when I did some counseling, I used to suggest to people that they imagine something floating in the wind, like a piece of paper, and allowing that to just kind of like lull you to sleep by like focusing in, because focusing in on that is going to take your thoughts away from all that other stuff that's going on that might be keeping us awake. Let's see. All right. So the last thing I want to mention here is making sure that substances that aren't interrupting your sleep, like alcohol and tobacco use. If you're using tobacco regularly, you might be waking up because you're having that craving for nicotine, which is the addictive product in tobacco, in vapes, and in also in cigarettes and cigars and things like that. So that could be opening you up to wake up in the night. Same with alcohol. A lot of people say, oh, I sleep better when I drink too much, but there's actually studies out there that it could be causing you to have a lack of good focused sleep and quality sleep. So you want to keep an eye on those. It's pretty common knowledge that substances like nicotine, illegal drugs, and alcohol can be addictive. And battling an addiction is going to make it hard to have a good physical wellness. So avoiding substances that are addictive or getting help if you are addictive could improve your physical wellness. Substances can also prevent a good night's sleep. And we've heard today how sleep is so important and can keep a person, these substances can keep a person up during the night. So you want to be cautious about that. Like I said, if you're a smoker, you could have a craving for nicotine. It could be waking you up at night because of the addictive substance. And if you do feel like you want to quit smoking, if you're smoking, we're really fortunate in New Jersey to have the quit centers throughout the state. We have one here in Cape May County. Cape Assist helps with that. And in Atlantic County, it's Atlantic Prevention Resources. They have free smoking cessation programs. And also, alcohol is a depressant, and even though it, if it's used in moderation, it can be okay. Overuse can really cause physical and emotional instability to the user. Some people say that sleep better, like I said in the last slide, but they're really unsound sleeping. So it could be messing with your sleep stages. We have different stages of sleep. So you want to make sure that you're cautious about the amounts of alcohol and close to bed. A study published in the International Society of Addiction Journal shows that the amount of alcohol can have a varying effect on how and when we sleep and how disrupted it is, depending on our dependency levels. Okay. And again, if you're not seeing a physician or dentist regularly, make it the first step to find a provider. Try using things like your birthday to remind you to get a mammogram or another annual preventative checkup. And some people say that they don't have time, or some are fearful of what they might find if they go to the doctors. But if you find it early enough, it can tell you what's going on with your body. So it's important to do that. Find a provider that meets your needs. If the doctor isn't listening or answering your questions, then find another one. Go to another one that is meeting your needs so that you're more likely to go and go to those preventative appointments. And make sure to know important numbers like your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your waist circumference. These help prevent chronic diseases like diabetes. It's also, obviously your cholesterol levels. It's important to get those things checked as well. And the thing I always like to say is putting it off is not going to make it go away. It's not going to, it might in your mind, it might put it away, but it's only going to compound it. So those preventative things can really, help to get a professional's recommendation is really a good thing. Here's the survey again, if you'd be so kind to scan into your phone by holding up your camera to the QR code. I'd really appreciate your feedback on what you thought of the presentation today. And then keys to safe medicine safety here is the last area. And I just want to point out, I say it all the time, but I still hear it all the time. All natural products have gotten the reputation of being above recourse. Like they're the be all end all. But guess what? Poison ivy, it's all natural. Just because something says it's all natural does not mean it's a miracle cure for everything and it has no consequences. So if all natural is on a supplement you're taking, you should know that it does not have any regulatory oversight. So it's just labeled as all natural. So the all natural on food refers to meat and eggs. So there too, you may not be getting what you think you're getting. But additionally, all natural often tends to mean nothing synthetic or chemical, but even things found in nature can be toxic. So become an informed consumer and don't rely on the all natural claim. Additionally, supplements can interfere with other medications. So when you go to your doctor's appointment and they ask about medications you're taking, be sure to include all vitamins and supplements. Because if they prescribe you something and it interacts with something you didn't tell them about, that could be really detrimental to your physical wellness. And just like over the counter medication, all natural over the counter medications can be misdosed or even overused. So be sure to follow the instructions and realize that they may interact with those medications. And finally, make sure medications are stored in a safe, appropriate place. Don't keep them too close to the heat or light if that's not recommended for that. And substances, even prescribed ones, should be locked up and disposed of properly when you are finished using them. So, this might be a place that you start with your physical wellness. Is just to, go look in the cabinet where you're keeping your prescriptions and make sure they're in a safe place. So as the first slide indicated, and as shown in this diagram, the 8 components of wellness are a cycle that are very much interrelated, and each aspect can affect the next. Balancing them is hard, but each is equally important for overall wellness. If you feel unbalanced in one area, take time to focus on improving that area. And now that we had a lengthy discussion on physical wellness, think about this presentation and where you may need to become more physically well. There's individual presentations for each of the 8 dimensions that I'll be covering each month in the Lunch and Learns. And it's important to take them in small steps. So if you're looking at trying to work on your physical wellness this month, break it down into little steps. and recognize that, no one's going to be able to do it for you. You need to do it for yourself, and it's very personal. But if you come up with a game plan on how you're going to do it, based on one of the 6 areas that we covered, maybe you cover something each week, or maybe one a month or something like that. But, just break it apart and be aware of it so that you can maintain that physical wellness. These are some of the resources that were used for today's presentation. And here's my contact information. Always available if you have questions. And like I said, I'll send out that follow-up email and the link that you can use for entering, using the survey, and I'll send out some resources. This is the next month's March Lunch and Learn. It's on the 28th. You need to pre-register for this. If you open your camera, you can do that right now. I'll send that along with the follow-up email. And you can, use this as one of the 10 to enter for your Fitbit too, if you attend this one. So that is there for you as well. So I'll look and see if we have any questions here. Oh, so sorry. Yes, second poll, please go. Forgot to release the second poll. I get too into what I'm saying. So if anybody has any questions, you can throw them in the chat. I'm happy to talk about that. And if you could answer the poll, it's very helpful to me to know what you're learning and what helps. I will say, I think last month we had about 20 people fill out the survey when we sent it out. So, good chances of winning a Fitbit with those numbers. So make sure you get your opportunity in too. All right, I don't see any questions in the chat. Morgan, I don't see the poll anymore, so I don't know how we are in the percentage. If you want to chime in, but if you could fill out the poll before you hop off, I'd appreciate it.
We're at 80% so far.
All right, we're almost there. Come on, we can do it.
We're real close. Yeah.
Don't be a holdout. Let me have it.
83.
Yay, thank you. All right, well, thank you all again for attending. I appreciate it. You'll hear from me with the link for the survey so you can complete the survey and enter for that Fitbit. And I hope to see you next month. And I hope you start getting out there, enjoying the summer, or the summer, not quite, the spring weather we're hoping to have, and the sunshine, and start getting physically active. Thanks. Have a good day.